Hello. Welcome back to my booktube. Um, I am doing my April books. It's technically May, but that's okay. Um, I somehow managed to get through five. I don't know how I did it. This month was incredibly hectic. Well, last month was incredibly hectic, but I did it. And I don't know how I did it, but I did it. So, my first book that I finished was Desperation by Stephen King. This one, so let's see where I'm at in my journey of reading them chronologically. 1996. Um, it is kind of a like in a what do you call that? A partner book or like a companion book to the Regulators. So, if you've read the Regulators, it happens in like the same like dimension, I guess. Um, so this one was in the desert, and there is a cop that is nuts, and he is kidnapping people, and the people he kidnaps includes this kid who has had like this like epiphany with God. God like saved his best friend. Who his best friend was on death's door, and he had this like epiphany, and now God is kind of like working through him in a way. And so it's kind of like a good versus evil. Um, this kid is like the kid who can end up saving humanity from whatever it is that has possessed this cop. So Desperation is the name of the town where the cop is from, and there's all this terrible stuff happening, and he's running wild, and it was pretty good. I gave it 3 stars. It's not my favorite kind of Stephen King. It started off promising. Uh, I thought it was going to be pretty scary, and then it kind of went on a tangent, and it wasn't that scary. Uh, but it was good. It had a nice ending. Had some gross parts, which is Stephen King. Uh, 3 stars. Desperation. Next is going to be, I believe, Bag of Bones. As far as my Stephen King journey is concerned, I'm almost to 2000, so we're going right along. The next one was one of my bedtime reads. It's called Instant Calm: 2-Minute Meditations to Create a Lifetime of Happy by Karen Salmansohn, and I gave it 4 stars. It is basically just a few meditations for all of your senses. I think it's five. Yeah, 5 different meditations. So there's like 5 touch meditations, 5 um, sight meditations, 5 taste meditations. And it was nice to read before bed because it kind of calmed you down a little bit. I especially liked the weightless. Well, that's what they called it. The weightless training. It's a sound training, and if you look up the song "Weightless," it's this song that's like designed to like physiologically put you into like a better rest state, and there's a warning, and it's like it was so effective at making people more calm and even drowsy that the study director advises people against driving while listening to the song. And I did fall asleep listening to the song. It was bedtime, so I could have just fallen asleep, but it was good. And all of the like the smell meditations and sight meditations and stuff like that is stuff that you have, like peppermint. Like that's a smell that you can get at home. It's not like you have to go out and buy frankincense oil or something like that. Like you can find something that smells like peppermint. So, and then like tea was one of the taste meditations. Um, yeah, it was pretty cool. I gave it 4 stars. I like it. I still do some of them when I think about it. Okay, next is our so we couldn't go to April's book club that mom and I have been going to because I had a softball game. But May's book club is for the book The Girl from Rawblood. It's by Catriona Ward, and it was not my favorite. Um, so this is for this month's book club, so I haven't yet gotten to share my opinions. But it was, man, it was advertised as like a gothic tale of love and madness. This atmospheric and chilling story drew me in from the first page and kept me up all night until I reached the last. Cannot relate. Um, Man, it bounced around from character to character, from storyline to storyline. The last like 20 pages brought some stuff together and tied up some questions, but there were some people where I was like, what do you have to do with anything? Who are you? So the basis is that there's this family and they live on this estate, Rawblood, and there's like a curse that haunts this family, and the family can't fall in love or love someone because then that person is gonna get taken away, basically. Um, and it go, I don't know, I don't know. I gave it a 2. There were really times where I wanted to give it a 1, but the ending was a little redeeming. I wouldn't say it was like fantastic by any stretch of the imagination, but it was okay. It was 2 stars. I feel solid with my 2-star rating for The Girl from Rawblood. And I'm sorry because I don't like to give 2 stars, or I don't like to give less than 3 stars, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. Um, it was way more of a love story than it was like scary, but whatever. The fourth book I read was The Self-Love Experiment, 15 Principles for Becoming More Kind, Compassionate, and Accepting of Yourself by Shannon Kaiser. And I ended up giving it 3 stars. But okay. So if you look at the book, the 15 principles are this much of the book. The rest of it just felt like one long introduction. So this lady wrote this book because she wanted to um, be nicer to herself, to love herself and accept herself the way she is, which is, that's what I want, that's what everybody wants. But she quotes herself, which I don't know why that just rubs me the wrong way. Like, inside the book, she quotes herself, which it's your book. Like, I figured that you're the one that said the stuff. But also, she talks a lot about her weight, and like the way she talks about it is like she didn't think she could be happy until she weighed a certain amount, and then she accepted her body the way it was, but then that in turn helped her lose weight. So I couldn't tell if she was like happy because she loved her body or if she just ended up being happy because she lost the weight. And it did the same thing for like relationships. So she was like she wanted to love herself being single, but then by doing that, somehow it brought her into a relationship. And it's like, so was the end goal to get a relationship, or was it to be happy with yourself? Or like, was the end goal to love yourself or to lose weight? It was, I had my ups and downs. We had ups and downs, we did, this book and I. Um, it wasn't what I had expected exactly. I was kind of looking for more like information, because she does claim to have um suffered with like eating disorders, drug addictions, burnout, and depression. Um, so I was thinking there might be more like factual, scientific type stuff about how to uh, train your brain in a way that is not quite as negative, because I need to do that. I think most people probably need to do that, but having depression, you need some more help. Um, but there was not much science, and it was pretty much just love yourself and love yourself, but like if you could be better, be better. And I don't know, that doesn't seem. You know what? I'm being negative today. 3 stars. Good job, Shannon Kaiser. I like it. I like you. Yeah. The last book was, so I do a recommendation every month. This book was recommended by my friend Jamie, and she is um a librarian in an elementary school, so I knew it was going to be a good pick. But it was also like a young adult pick, and that's not my go-to genre. So I was a little anxious about it being a YA. But let me tell you. So I started listening to it. It was 17 hours long. So I was like, I'm not going to end up being able to finish this just by listening to it. Luckily, I had already purchased the book for my kids, and I had a copy at school, so I brought it home. It is called Children of Blood and Bone. It is by Tomi Adeyemi. I believe that's how you say her name. It is part of a series, I believe a trilogy, and it's a thick book, but it is good. I gave it 5 stars. Um, it is a fantasy young adult lit, and it's takes place in like a land where there used to be magic, and the people who had magic were called diviners or magi, and they had different types of magic. I can't remember what all the there was like there's winders, there's burners, there's tiders, there's reapers. So there's different the magi of animals, magi of time, magi of health and disease. So they have different like powers that they can wield. Some of them can heal people, some of them can talk to the dead, some of them can manipulate the earth, things like that. So, of course, the king decided that they were too powerful and we couldn't have them on the earth, so he eliminated them and basically like mass extinction. And the only ones that were left were the kids, and the kids hadn't yet developed their powers, so they were just gonna basically wean it out of society. And so, by the by, um, something happens where magic is like awoken again, um, and the main character Zaylee has the responsibility of restoring magic to the potential magi. So the who were the kids when the magi's were killed. So now like the 15 to 25-year-olds, like she has to go through this process, this journey to try to restore magic for them so that the magic isn't killed forever. And it's an adventure. There's love in it, but it was not predictable. It wasn't just like, I feel like when I think of YA, sorry, just talking for myself, when I think of YA, I think Twilight and I think Harry Potter and I think it follows a relatively predictable pattern. This totally did not. It was great. Um, it's also um like it's written from, let me think, 3 different perspectives, which sometimes I really like and sometimes I really don't. The 3 different perspectives in this made it way easier to follow the whole storyline. So it's from Zaylee's perspective, it's from the Princess Amari's perspective, and it's from the future king, the prince, Inan's perspective. And those 3 perspectives really help to kind of tie it all together. I don't want to give away too much because it's really good and I think you should read it. But um, there is there are 2 like love birdie things, and one of them is heartbreaking. Just so you know. My only requirement when I asked for recommendations on Facebook was that they not be tearjerkers. This is not a tearjerker, but there were sad moments. Um, so just be prepared. But it's really good. I gave it 5 stars. It was my only 5 star for this month. So I will put my titles in the description box, and I will be back at the end of this month with hopefully more than 5 books. I'm reading Les Mis. It's going well. I have a couple other books going, and I am working on June's month club. Book club. June's book club book. Um, so I should have those done by the time I am back here. So, as always, let me know if you've read anything great or terrifying or laughable, and I'll give it a look. And I'll see you next month. Bye.